Hello friends, and welcome to Pathologic Volume 2, Episode 29. Today we are going to be taking a look at a puzzle called Consecutive Quads, which I am not familiar with, but it looks like it might stretch our Sudoku muscles a little bit, so that should be some good fun, and we're going to get started by taking a look at the rules. Consecutive Quads is a Latin square puzzle, which means we will place numbers from 1 to n so that each number appears only once in each row and column, where n is the number of rows in the puzzle. So this is the same constraint you'd see in a Sudoku puzzle. As you can see in this solution, every row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in some order. Every column has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in some order. And that's because, of course, these are 5x5 puzzles. If they were larger, it would go 1 through whatever that number is. White dots indicate that the 2x2 area contains exactly one consecutive pair of digits. Black dots indicate that the 2x2 area contains at least 2 consecutive pairs of digits. Not all dots are given. So, this black dot here is saying that in this 2x2 region surrounding the dot, we will have at least 2 consecutive pairs of digits, and you can see that there's a 1, 2, there's a 2, 3, and there's a 3, 4. So there are 3 pairs in this region. This white dot here is saying there's exactly 1 consecutive pair, and if we look at this region, the only consecutive pair there is the 3, 4. But no dot at all is just giving us no information. It isn't the same as saying there are no consecutive pairs because of the not all dots are given. Numbers may be repeated in 2x2 areas, straightforward enough. Any unique pair of consecutive digits counts, even with repeated numbers. So 2, 3, 3, 6 counts as 2 pairs of consecutives since there are 2 different 2, 3 pairs. So this 2, 3 counts, this 2, 3 counts. This is also implying that the pairs don't need to be, they may overlap. So the same 2 is used in both of those. So this is also saying that if the quad had 1, 2, 3 in it, that would have at least 2 consecutive pairs of digits, the 1, 2, and the 2, 3. That the 2 isn't used up in that scenario. So those are the rules of consecutive quads, and it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's consecutive quads puzzle was set by Tyrgannus. Okay, where can we start with these? I think probably the white dots will be the most constrained because, for example, this 3, 4 or this 1, 2 already have used up the one and only consecutive pair we are allowed in that quad. This is a 6x6, so we need the numbers 1 through 6, and I'm going to use center marks here to mark that in this quad, since these are 3, 4, we can't have any other numbers that would result in this having another pair. So that rules out 3 because it would pair up with this 4. It rules out 4 because it would pair up with this 3. It rules out 2s from this 3 and 5s from this 4. So that leaves us with only 1 and 6 as the possible candidates here. And we'll be able to eliminate that right away, but I want to first use that same logic right here between these two cells because, again, we can't have the 1 because of the 2, can't have a 2 because of the 1, and we can't have a 3 because of the 2. So here we could have a 4, 5, 6 would be allowed as potential things without immediately breaking that single restriction. But now we can, because we already have a 6 in this row, this becomes a 1. That doesn't necessarily mean this is a 6. That's the temptation here. But in fact, if this is another 1, we only have 1 pair. And if this is another 6, if this is a 6, we still only have the 1 pair. So both of those are still legal. Up here, let's see, we've got a 5 and a 6 here. So this one is a 4. That rules 5 out of here, actually, because 4, 5 would make another pair, and 4 rules the 4 out. So this one, in fact, is a 6. And let's just double check. 2, 4, 6, no consecutive pairs there. So it's just the 1, 2. Okay, let's look at this row. It's almost done. All we need left is a 2 and a 3, and the 2 can't go here, so it goes here. 2, 3. And actually, by doing that, we've satisfied this black dot, which has got a 3, 4 and a 4, 5 in it, so it's happy. This row is also nearly full. What does it need? A 4 and a 5, and the 5 will prevent this one from being the 5, so this is the 5, meaning this is the 4. Now, let's look at this nearly done quad. What numbers could this be to give us the one and only pair that we need? This can't be a 2 or a 4 or a 6, because none of those would form any consecutive pairs. We need at least an odd. That's actually a good way of thinking about these, is the kind of parity rule that they imply. If there is a consecutive pair, there must be at least one odd and at least one even in that quad somewhere. So actually, that right there tells us in both of these cases that this last number is gonna have to be odd. Oops. That was the wrong tool. 1, 3, 5. So that's the first thing that I see there. And now, of those 1, 3, and 5, which of those are legal here? Well, a 1 would give us 2 consecutive pairs, the 1, 2, and this 1, 2. And a 3 would give us a 2, 3, a 2, 3, and a 3, 4. So both of those would result in black dots. So this must, in fact, be a 5. And here, we kind of have the same thing. The 5 would pair up with the 4 and the 6. The 3 would pair up with the 2 and the 4. So this has to be a 1. And then that resolves our 6 over here. And the only thing left in this row is a 3. In this row across here, we need a 1, a 3, and a 5. And there's 1s in both of these columns. So this one is the 1. And the others are a 3 or a 5. Let's look at this quad. We could have known immediately that this one had to be odd by the same token as what we saw before. But which of these gives us at least 2? A 3 gives us a 2, 3, and a 4, 3. And the 5 gives us a 4, 5, and a 6, 5. So actually both of them will be fine. Let's look, I guess, at columns next. We don't have anything in the first row or the last row, but we can fill in the candidates for all of these columns now, and that probably is worth doing just to see this better. We need a 2, 4 here. We need a 1, 5. This one, we have some unknown in the third one. I'm just going to do the ones with only 2 options, 1, 6, and 3, 6. Does that give us anything, especially for this quad and this quad I'm looking at? We need exactly 1 pair. What will these choices do to that? Are any of them problematic? This one, regardless of whether we pick the 2 or the 4, will pair up with the 3. So this is our pair. That means we can't have another pair, which means this can't be the 5, because it would give us a second pair over here. So this is a 1. And that now tells us that this one can't be a 2, because we would end up with the 1, 2 pair and the 2, 3 pair. So this is a 4. And those will probably resolve most of what's going on outside here. The 4 gives us a 2. The 1 gives us a 5. And then looking over here, the 1 gives us a 6, 1. And the 6 says it's a 3, 6. So now, here we've got 4, 5, 6 satisfying that black dot. 1, 2, 3 satisfies this black dot. So these are happy. And up here, we've got 5, 6 making this one happy. This one needs some work yet. This one needs some work yet to satisfy it. What's left at the bottom? We need a 5 and we need a 2, and the 2 here resolves that. So a 5 here, 2 here, 5 will knock the 5 out of here, making this a 3, and this a 5. And here we still, well, we can just solve this by Sudoku, Latin square. We could also look at the white dot and see what could this be to make the white dot happy. 1, 3, and 6 wouldn't give us any pairs at all. So we need one of the new digits. A 2 is a problem because it gives us a 1, 2, and a 2, 3. So this is a 4 or a 5 just from that. And so that's one way we could have narrowed this down. But the easy way, of course, is just to look at this column and say we need a 4. And we look at this column and say we need a 3. And that is how we solve a consecutive quads.